morning. I'm Sherry Shermer, and I'm a Member Services Representative for Oregon Trail Electric Cooperative. And I was the chaperone for the 2008 Washington, D.C. Youth Tour. Okay, how about that? Okay, all right. For those of you that don't know what the Youth Tour is, it's an educational youth conference held in Washington, D.C. in mid-June. And every year, OTECC selects one high school junior from each of our 4 districts to attend this all-expenses-paid youth conference. These 4 students, along with their chaperone, meet up in Washington, D.C. with 1,500 other students representing electric cooperatives from all over the nation. And together they spend the week participating in a wide variety of fun activities. They also spend time learning. They learn about leadership and electric cooperatives and the federal legislative process. This is a wonderful learning experience for these youth, and I would like to thank the OTECC Board of Directors for allowing these kids to have this opportunity. At this time, I'll introduce our 2008 Youth Tour participants, and then they're going to say a little bit about their experiences at the camp. So first we have Dakota Olson. She's from Baker High School, representing Baker District. And Patrick Stamkey is from Burns High School, representing Burns District. Stephen Crater from Union High School, representing LaGrande District. And Savannah Cowie from Grant Union High School, representing John Day District. So turn the time over to them.
Hello. Okay, my name is Dakota, and I'm going to tell you about my trip to Washington. My trip to Washington, D.C. was a lot of firsts for me. It was my first time on a plane, and even though I was lucky enough to get a seat by the bathroom, it was still a fun experience. It was also my first time in D.C. From the second we stepped off the plane to the second we got back on, our days were busy. We toured a lot of memorials and monuments. On the first day at the Arlington National Cemetery, all you could see for miles were tombstones and tombstones of soldiers. We even got to see the changing of the guard at the tomb of the unknown soldier. We toured, shopped, and ate at the old post office, and after that we drove down Embassy Row and saw all the different and unique houses. After Embassy Row, we made our way to the National Cathedral. It was huge and the architecture was amazing. Every window had some sort of colorful art, and when the sun shone through it, it was absolutely breathtaking. Next on our list was the White House. It is still unreal to me that I was standing outside the gate of where the president lives. Our entertainment for that night was going to the Kennedy Theater to watch the Sheer Madness fight. It was also my first musical. The second day, we saw the Lincoln Memorial. There I learned something I never knew. One of Lincoln's hands was in the shape of an L and the other an A. After that, we made our way over to the Korean War Memorial. Everywhere you turned, there was a soldier looking at you. Next was the Vietnam Memorial. The names seemed to go on forever. I even managed to find a couple of soldiers with my last name. The place that was the most touching was the Holocaust Museum. At the beginning, I received a passport of a little girl, and that was a part of the Holocaust. During the tour, I saw how they were treated. They even had some videos that were pretty graphic. At the end of the tour of the museum, I got to find out if the little girl from the passport made it out or not. It turns out she was never heard from again. I didn't leave the museum without crying. After the museum, we went to the Jefferson Monument, Capitol Hill, and the World War II Memorial. The World War II Memorial was the perfect way to end a long, emotional day. The sun was just going down, and it was beautiful how it hit the water fountain in the middle of the memorial. We started off the third day with the NRECA Youth Day activities. There we had an inspirational speaker who empowered us about how important the youth was for the future. We also got to trade our Oregon pins with other states like Texas and Maine. It was really fun interacting with different states. After 4 hours of sitting, we were off to go walk around the beautiful property of George Washington. I got to see the tombs of both him and his wife. After a lot of walking, we went on to the Spirit of America cruise and then to the Hiroshima Memorial. On the 4th day, we went to the National Archives, where we got to see all the raw documents that were the foundation of America. We spent the rest of the day getting prepped for our meeting with our state legislature. On the last day, we took a tour of Capitol Hill and the Library of Congress. Finally, we got to meet with our legislator, Greg Walden, to question him about his actions and plans for our future. We finished off our last day with a dance with all of the states. My Washington, D.C. experience was one that I will never forget. It was nice getting out of the history classroom and seeing the places I only got to see and read about in magazines and books. I'm truly thankful for the experience. Thank you.
My mom made me take notes. First of all, I'd like to just thank all the OTECC board of directors and all the members of OTECC, I guess, for making this trip possible for me and the rest of these guys. I know it was just a fun trip, and I enjoyed it a lot. First of all, it was all about all the different states, kids from different states bonding. We got to meet at least one kid from every other state and trade pins and everything with them. And then we got to go visit all the different sites and memorials in Washington, D.C. that you hear of and read of in books, like Dakota said. And it's just awesome just seeing all the different presidents and their history and where they lived and their families and everything. Every night and every day in Washington, it was fun because we were all it was like the Northwest trip, the group we were in, and one night we had Cold Stone after a play. We went and played games. We hung out late at night and then woke up early, so we were always tired, but we were always just trying to stay awake with each other, and that was a lot of fun. I learned a lot about my country's history when I went there, like the different wars, what happened, how many people died, and just it showed the memorials, it showed the names and stars of people, and you just realize what happens in war and what our soldiers do for us. And most of all, I went on this trip because you guys sent me there, and so we got to talk to our representative, Greg Walden, and we just got his output on what he's on our electrical status of the nation and the state, and he just talks about saving energy and whatnot. And what he told us is that he drives around a Toyota Prius, so it gets like, I don't know, 70 miles to the gallon or whatever they get. And so that was the main part of this trip, was to learn something out of it. And I learned that every little thing you do, you can save and help this country and help the power source or whatever, so we don't ever run out of electricity. And I just think it was a great trip, and I think every kid should get to go to Washington, D.C. and visit all the memorials. And I'd like to thank you guys again for the opportunity.
This group of kids represented OTECC very well at the youth tour. They are an awesome group. Thank you so much for being here today. You all did great. These are our leaders of our future, and I feel very confident knowing that. Thank you so much. That concludes our portion of the program. I'll turn the time back over to Mr. Miller.